Hello, everybody. My name is Nadia Thompson, and I will be coming to you today on behalf of the Hollywood Cuts Barbering School and Salon in Batesville, Mississippi, under the direction and instruction of Cameron Wood. Today, we're going to be reviewing Chapter 1 of the 6th edition Milady Standard Exam Prep Book. This is what the front of your prep book will look like, but this is not your book. This is actually the student workbook. You will be getting the gray book, not the red or the blue. That's what we're going to be going over here. Now, in chapter 1, the objectives we're going to do are discussing the evolution of barbering and the origin of the word, describe the practices of barber-surgeons and the meaning behind the barber pole, identify the organizations responsible for the advancement of the profession and the function of the state barber boards. We're going to recognize the resurgence of barbering in the 21st century and opportunities available to you, the new barber. Okay, so first, it's important to know that barbering is one of the oldest documented professions stretching back millennia. No matter the culture or religion, all people everywhere in the world have practiced some form of beautification. As time moves on and advances, so does the profession and the technique. New trends pop up every day. So why do you need to know this? Being a barber or a stylist of any kind requires you to stay on top of what is hot and upcoming. When people say that history repeats itself, that is true. If you study hair over the years up until this very day, you'll see that styles are on a constant merry-go-round. No matter what spin you put on them, even the most unique styles can be found in history somewhere. These days, we have shears, clippers, and a large assortment of products to choose from, not to mention electricity. That has not always been the case. The simple implements used started with sharpened flints, oyster shells, and even pieces of bones. We have come a mighty long way. Now, Egyptians are actually credited with being the first people to cultivate beauty in an extravagant fashion. Barbering was a major part of this. If you follow along to page 7 in your books, you can see examples of beauty products such as combs and cosmetics made from the earth, including tree bark and berries. They used what they had. Scissors, razors, and brushes were tempered from copper and bronze in this era. Coloring agents were made from some of these materials as well and used on the hair, skin, and nails. Okay, not just blowing smoke. Practices that they use up to 6,000 years ago have been recorded and discovered in different tombs, sculptures, and art. If you look on page 7 again, you will see Egyptian soldiers depicted in art having their hair cut. So this goes back a long way. Now, remember this name. It's one of the key terms you'll discuss. I'm going to do that a lot. I'm going to try to always point out what key terms are important for you to remember for your exam. Okay, Merimot. This was an Egyptian barber believed to be held in high esteem due to the many depictions that have been discovered of his image. Outside of Egypt, you will also find that Greece, during its golden age, developed barbering as an art. The neatness of your beard was a status symbol. Barbershops became known as the meeting places to discuss sports and political views, and barbers were regarded in high esteem in the community, much like today. All right. Ticinius Mena, another key word, is credited with bringing the practices of shaving and barbering to Rome. This is also a time when private sessions with barbers became a status symbol as well. We all know the house call cost a little extra, even today. The Emperor Hadrian in 117 AD changed the trend of the clean-shaven face when he grew out his beard in order to cover battle scars on his face. The word barber, keyword alert, is actually derived from the Latin word barba, B-A-R-B-A, meaning beard. Another key word to keep in mind for your upcoming exams is the word tonsorial, meaning to shear, which is why barbers are sometimes referred to as tonsorial artists. See? This is why it's good to know your history. Somebody come calling you that, now you mad thinking they ain't called you out your name. The more you know, okay? Now, it's also important to know the different cultural reasons why barbers are held in such high esteem for some and lower for others. In some culture, even today, many groups believe that hair clippings could be used to bewitch an individual. This is why the profession was only reserved for leaders in different tribes and communities, such as priests and medicine men. Now, the Greek philosopher Pythagoras, keyword alert, Pythagoras, believed that hair was a source of the brain's main inspiration and that cutting it decreased one's intellect. The Irish believed hair clippings should be burned or buried with the dead to ward off evil spirits and consequences. And the Native Americans believed that hair and spirit were so intertwined that possessing someone's hair gave you control over their will. As we reviewed earlier, all cultures hold traditions and beliefs surrounding hair and the maintenance of it. Hair is universal. Got it? Okay. Moving on. Coloring agents. Blonde hair was often colored in lighter tones using things like tallow, lime, and the extracts of certain brightly colored vegetables. The ancient Britons were known for this as well as for the length of their hair. They often kept it long and wore it in a proud fashion. Darker hair color was usually processed from plants, trees, and various soil contents. In Rome, the color of a woman's hair showed her class or rank. Noble women in the highest esteem tinted their hair red. Middle class women blonde, and poor women were actually publicly compelled to wear their hair black so that they could be known. Queen Elizabeth influenced the era of men dyeing their beards. That's also something that's important for you to know. Religion also influenced hair on many occasions. Clergymen were known for the tonsure, keyword, or shaved patch in the top of their heads until it was abolished in 1972. You can find an example of this on the bottom of page 9. This practice was held in such high esteem that Celtics and Romans disagreed for years on what shape the patch should be in. Priests curled and braided their hair and beards until Pope Gregory issued an actual decree requiring the shaving of faces and maintaining of short hair, showing people have been pressed and jealous for years. Okay. Many laws and traditions in regards to hair also had practical reasons. Alexander the Great ordered his soldiers to shave their beards so that they couldn't be seized in battle. There were also some not so practical reasons. Peter the Great was so opposed to wearing the beard that he put a tax on people who chose to wear them. Now, we're going to review the term barber-surgeon. This is very important to your exam, so please pay close attention. It's definitely worth knowing that barbers used to be the only individuals allowed to perform dentistry. For more than 1,000 years, this was the term used for barbers, barber-surgeon. From, remember this, 1450 to 1745, when a law was passed to separate them, barbers and surgeons were always intertwined. Ambrose Paré was a noteworthy French barber-surgeon who went on to become the father of modern surgery. So the saying, steady hand, steady skill is, that has a lot of meaning here. Now, the barber pole. Bear with me, buckle up, hold on. This is actually interesting. I'm going to get there slowly but surely, okay? The symbol of the barber pole came from the technical procedures of bloodletting performed by barber surgeons. Patients would have to hold tightly to a staff in order for the veins in the arm to stand out during surgery. Just think about the tight wrapping placed around your arm before you receive an IV in a hospital. It's basically had the same meaning. Okay, the bottom cap of the pole symbolizes the basin or bowl that was used to catch the blood. The white stripes represent the bandages that were used to stop the bleeding and hung on that staff to dry. The same bandages would then twist around the pole in the breeze, forming a red and white pattern. Okay. One way the colors were interpreted was red for the blood, blue for the veins, and white for the bandages. Later, after the separating of barbers and surgeons, they were required to have two different poles outside of their establishments in order for people to know them, okay? Blue and white for barbers and red and white for surgeons. Another interpretation of the United States is a symbol for the nation's flag. Okay. Fun fact and a wrap-up of the barber pole section. Having one displayed outside of a barbershop that is not licensed employing licensed barbers is prohibited in certain states. I didn't know that before this. In short, Lord, I'm tongue-tied today. It is not just decoration. It actually has a lot of meaning. Now, let's get to the modern barbering organizations and state boards. All of this information is very important, by the way. Everything I'm giving you is important, but I need you to know this, okay? I'm going to use a lot of dates. I'm going to use a lot of cities and states, and I'm going to use a lot of different organizations, some who have names that are similar. So I need you to study, and look in your books in greater detail so that you can know about them, okay? All right. This section will help you identify the organizations responsible for advancing the barbering profession and explain the function of state barber boards. I know that's important to you, okay? If it's not, it should be. Why are you here? Okay. It wasn't until the end of the 19th century when the barbering world completely separated from religion and medicine and became an independent profession. Remember that. You soon saw the emerging of employer organizations known as master barber groups and employee organizations known as journeyman barber groups. They were the first step toward upgrading and regulating the profession with standards that are still observed by today's barbering profession. A prime example of this is the Barbers Protective Association, organized in 1886. Now, the first barber licensing law was passed in 1897. It set standards for sanitation, minimum education required, and license requirements in the state of Minnesota. This brought down the rise of head lice, bacteria, and infections spreading due to the requirement being set for the washing of towels and disinfecting of tools in between clients. There was once a time when that was not required or even suggested, which is weird. These practices soon spread to New York in 1916. The Associated Master Barbers of America was established in Chicago in 1924 and was the first organization to include beauty salons, leading them to change their name at a later date to the Associated Master Barbers and Beauticians of America. This is shortened into AMBBA. There are many dates worth noting, which can be found on page 18 through 19. Please look into those. Some I'll hit on here are in 1929 in St. Paul, Minnesota. The National Association of State Board of Barber Examiners solidified the qualifications required for barber examination applicants and methods to be used. In 1929, the AMBBA, as we just said, adopted the Barber Code of Ethics to promote professional responsibility. They later published their own textbook. Since 1929, all states have passed laws regulating the practices of barbering and hairstyling. So that year kind of set it off. The National Association of Barber Boards of America, or NABBA, established the month of September as National Barber Month. You will find the objectives and mission statement for this organization on page 15. No one wants to hear me read that word for word, but please look into that. Now, we're going to wrap this up with a bow and come full circle to the state of barbering today. Recognizing how far you have come so that you don't find yourself at a standstill in your profession, okay? The 1940s and 50s were known as the heyday of barbering, with many men establishing a routine of 2 weeks between cuts. That is until 1964. The Beatles made an appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show and basically started a long hair revolution in one night. In 1985, over half of the barbering students accounted for were women, and that number has continued to climb in a once male-dominated field, moving the number of female clients in barbershops up to 30%. The year 2010 brought back the wave of beards worn by men, minus the beard tax, of course, and also brought about a rise in the need for products to maintain that look. In short, the barbering world is vibrant, diverse, and ever-changing. You have to forge new traditions as a barber while keeping in mind the influences of the ways of old, okay? So remember, your key responsibilities of a barber are protect the health, safety, and welfare of the public, maintain as well as enhance standards, continue your quest for knowledge daily, and always look to advance the great and noble industry of barbering. That's it. That's chapter 1. We are done. We are summarized. Once again, my name is Nadia Thompson. I'm coming to you on behalf of the Hollywood Cuts Barbering School and Salon under the direction and instruction of Cameron Wilkes. I hope you come back and join us for chapter 2. We're going to go through the whole book and we're going to try to have a little fun. So y'all have a great day and I'll see y'all later.